Welcome back to another episode. It's Alex here. I'm feeling so low on energy, so I decided today is going to be a relaxed episode. So relaxed that I'm once again laying in bed in my comfy little position with my heating pad on. If you listened to the last episode, it's exactly what I'm doing again. Unfortunately, this episode is mal-prepared to a certain extent because I do prep all of my podcast episodes in advance. And the one I had prepped for this week, I'm like, no. I simply just don't want to talk about it because I don't feel inspired for that type of conversation today because I am tired. Okay, I just woke up, got my period today. I worked all day. I ran some errands today. That's it. That's really all I did. So it's not that much of a tiring day, but I am indeed tired. I was pretty productive. And I have a lot still to do with my day. So I'm like, hey, let's make today easy for me. And that's the luxury of what I get to do, actually. And I have a lot of gratitude for that. Is that, guess what? I get to decide what we're talking about. So today I thought of doing something that I've never done for two reasons. One, because I think it could be interesting to read some Valentine's Day horror stories from Reddit. And two, because I didn't prepare and ask you guys your Valentine's Day horror stories. So we're going to have to go to the interweb and find random people that we don't know and then read those out and react to them. That's all I've got for this episode. And truly, that's okay. Because I did want it to be Valentine's Day themed. Did I say Happy Valentine's Day already? I can't remember, but happy Valentine's Day, everyone. It's a special day. It's the day of love. And for anybody who is single out there, I do just want to preface and say, it's okay. I don't know if you care or not, okay? So like, I don't want to sound like passive aggressive or something or demeaning by saying it's okay, even if you don't give a shit. But if you do give a shit and you're like, fuck, I'm single on Valentine's Day. And I've been there, okay? I've been the girl that's like, oh my God, I'm single on Valentine's Day, boo. It's so, unfortunate that we believe this. And whatever, it's one day of the year. If we're going to be sad for one day of the year, it's not that bad, right? I've been sad for multiple days, so one day is not that big of a deal. But if it makes you feel any better, Valentine's Day is really just what you make it. If you don't truly care about Valentine's Day, don't celebrate it. If you do and you want to do some fun things and celebrate love, whether it be with your friends, your family, your significant other, go ahead. God bless you. Have so much fun. Last year, I actually didn't really celebrate it, but I was like with my boyfriend, but didn't actively go out and celebrate it. And this year we are. We just switch it up every now and then. I'm not a Valentine's Day slut, like in terms of how much I love it, but I can get down with a good Italian dinner and some wine and some chocolates and some flowers. I can get down with that. So, Valentine's Day. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do is I already pre-found a page, like a Reddit thread of a bunch of Valentine's Day horror stories. And I guess this will be kind of similar to a little what would I do situation where I read these through and I'm just going to give my opinion. And I think Reddit stories and posts and threads are always so intricately detailed and intense and like shit that borderline could be fake because it's Reddit, but it's just interesting enough for us to hear it, I decided to talk about horror stories because what's the point of talking about awesome stories? I don't know if you just heard my cat meow, but I need to let him out of the room real quick. Let's get into it, shall we? So the thread itself is literally, what's the worst Valentine's Day you've had? By the way, I don't use Reddit like that. I'm not like a Reddit warrior or at all. Like I'll read Reddit when I look up questions and the questions pop up on Reddit, but I'm not a Reddit girl. So I don't know if it's I know there's a whole Reddit community is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if it's wildly accepted to be reading things off of Reddit. I've heard there's dark places on there, but I don't go in those areas. Anyways, okay, let's go. In high school, I went out for Valentine's Day with my then boyfriend. We had been dating for almost a year, but this was the first time we ever really went anywhere. Typical high school relationship, I guess. So we got dinner, and right before we left, we exchanged presents. I was going to a fine art school at this point, so I had made him something in class that I was really proud of and hid a gift card to a store he loved inside. He gave me one of those $5 stuffed animals from Walgreens and just kind of threw it at me with no card or anything. After that, we're walking to the car. He's taking up the entire sidewalk almost, so I'm trying to walk through the mushy grass. It had been raining, in heels. I fall in the mud, practically ruin my dress, and he laughs at me. The worst part is that he didn't even take the present I worked so hard to make for him. He accidentally left it at my house when he dropped me off. I still have it too. Damn, this is from 14 fucking years ago. Holy shit, I just realized that. Damn. What part of the thread am I on? How do I find the recent ones? See, oh, these go by best. Okay, best to worst. I understand. Okay, well, fuck. That truly is a terrible Valentine's Day memory. And truly, okay, it started off cute. We got dinner. We went and exchanged presents. The way that hers was completely like heartfelt and beautiful, and she put in the time to make him something and then hide a gift card. Wow. Take notes. I'm gonna think of stuff to do for my boyfriend like that. But hopefully he'll appreciate it and not forget it at my house and laugh at me when I fall in the mud. But the $5 stuffed animals, the part that got me, that actually made me feel a little bit like my stomach kind of hurt, like ouchies, was when he threw the stuffed animal at her. Now that's too far. That one I don't fuck with. Terrible shit. And he doesn't know the sidewalk rule? What the fuck, man? Yeah, heels in the mushy grass is disgusting, bro. Honestly, the sad part about this story is, like, if it were me, like, I would have been fucking mean. Like, I guess the good part about myself is, like, yeah, maybe I'll get treated like shit, sure. But I simply won't let them not know that they're treating me like shit. And I guess that's the beauty of having siblings, maybe, when you're younger, or, like, growing up a little bit bullied. You know, like, you've been tossed and slapped around as a child because you had an older sibling. So you know, like, hey, if someone's treating me like shit, I'm going to yap about it. You know, like, I'm going to look at you and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And, like, cause a scene, cause a problem. That's one thing I'm not afraid to do. And it seemed like our girl here was afraid to speak up about it. But in my position, I would, one, say, hey, why the fuck are you not appreciating my present? And or I would have cried. Two, I would have taken the thrown stuffed animal, passed it back to him, and then said, okay, now give it to me normally and don't throw it at me. Okay. Three, if he wasn't giving me space on the sidewalk, I would have said, move. Let me walk on the sidewalk, you stupid animal. And four, I would have left the stuffed animal at his house too. And period. That's what I would have done. In 6th grade, I had a crush on a girl and I wanted to send her a rose, something the school did. But I didn't want her to know it was me. My handwriting is incredibly distinguishable and I was really shy. So I paid one of my friends $1 to write her name and Happy Valentine's Day from your secret admirer on the card. He went to the desk set up at lunch and turned in the card. Everyone at my lunch table, I should have mentioned this took place during lunch, watched as one of the teachers delivered the card to Lauren, for that was her name. We continued to watch as she smiled and giggled with her friends. She then jumped up and ran to the desk where they were selling the card/roses, wrote some stuff down, and then ran back to her table. A few moments later, the teacher got up and walked over to my table. She gave a card to my friend that I paid to write the note. It was from Lauren. She had recognized his handwriting and wanted to go on a date. He got up and went to her table and accepted the offer. Jackass. They went on a date and were dating, as much as 6th graders can be, for the rest of the year. She moved to El Paso at the end of the school year, never to be seen again. Edit. Unrequited love is a bitch. I haven't had a good Valentine's Day since. Bro, I'm seriously wondering, like, are these people all, like, children at the age of writing these? Because they're all, like, little youngins. So maybe, I don't know. I actually find this really funny, and I think that it would genuinely be a scene in like a little rom-com movie. But your friend totally is a jackass. I don't know if I would do anything differently in this situation other than just let that one slide, because how embarrassing, right? Like, that it was actually you. And you can't just go up to this Lauren girl and be like, hey, so it was actually me and I paid my friend to give this rose to you. So like, do you want to go on a date with me instead? Because then you're just opening yourself up to being rejected right on the spot when she already likes one of your friends. So you're like, okay, you're just going to let that one slide. I'm not saying I'd let my buddy slide for being an asshole and taking the girl that I like, but I think I wouldn't go and pursue that girl after that. I think that's one of those ones where you got to take it on your chest, move forward, move on, and call it a day. All right, this one's a longer one. I just celebrated my first Valentine's Day with my boyfriend of 8 months. I was very excited leading up to it because I'm 25 and had never had a boyfriend to celebrate Valentine's Day, but now I want to break up with him. I'm a big romantic girly girl. I like romance movies, love poems, public displays of affections, romantic dinners, and affirming words. Red roses are my favorite flower. All I wanted was a bouquet like the ones my dad gets my mom every year. My boyfriend knows this, but if he doesn't like or care about something, then he thinks nobody else should either. If I try to hold his hand or kiss his cheek, he pulls away and tells me to wait until we get home. I can count the number of times he's called me beautiful on one hand. He likes to act like a jerk because he thinks my reactions are funny. He got me some daisies and made a big stink about never getting me flowers again because he thinks they're stupid. He got me dark chocolate bars and I don't like dark chocolate. One of them had a love poem printed inside the wrapper. I thought it was really sweet until he said he regretted buying that one. As if that wasn't enough, he still hasn't told his family about me. We've been exclusive for 8 months. He has met my parents, and all his family knows is that he's talking to a girl. I found out because he invited me to bring his parents groceries, but told me to stay in the car. He didn't want his parents to see me, but sure enough, they saw me sitting in the front seat because they're not idiots. But I guess I am for staying with him for so long. He couldn't stop being a belligerent asshole for one day. I can't do this anymore. If he doesn't want anyone to know we're dating, then I guess we don't need to be dating. I'm done. Period. Sounds like she made up her mind, and that was the correct decision, because I have a genuine problem with people who choose to dislike and like lack an acceptance for something that your partner clearly really likes and or enjoys. Like, I get it. Not everybody likes Valentine's Day. Like, it makes sense. It's literally a corporate scheme for sure for love. But everything can be looked at in a positive way and have a positive twist on it. So if you want to look at it as like, hey, now I have an opportunity to show my girlfriend the love that I have for her boyfriend, whoever, and you take it in that way, then God bless. That's how you should take it truly. Unless you just don't like it and you keep that to yourself and you mind your business. Sure, whatever. But if you're in a relationship and somebody likes Valentine's Day, you guys got to come to some kind of compromise or just don't be together, because that's so disappointing. Like, I think in that story alone, I found 5 different reasons you guys shouldn't be together. Let me think. One person likes Valentine's Day, one person doesn't. One person doesn't like anything romantic, the boyfriend. He doesn't even want to give her a kiss on the cheek. She can only count the number of times he's called her beautiful on one hand. So that's fucking crazy. 8 months. He also got her things for Valentine's Day and said he's never going to do it again. He just sounds like a miserable person, truly. So there's a multiple reasons for not staying with that man. And honestly, God bless Valentine's Day came around, right? Because 8 months, you haven't been together for a Valentine's Day yet, that you were able to notice that. So it's a blessing in disguise, ladies. If we aren't sure of our partners, okay, wait, this isn't actually like genuine advice, but I mean, take it with a grain of salt. If we don't really aren't really sure, let's say, of our boyfriends, we're kind of on the edge of our seats with it. They've been kind of an asshole for like a good period of time. Valentine's Day runs around and they treat you like this. God bless, and be done with it. Amen. Next one. Oh, okay. I was 17. My boyfriend of a year broke up with me over the phone while I was visiting my dad in another city. An hour later, my mother called sobbing because she had a knockdown, drag-out fight with her boyfriend. My stepmom had been verbally abused and then called into work by her heinous boss. My poor shell-shocked father, dealing with 3 crying women, tried to make it better by taking my stepmom and I to a movie at the end of the day. My stepmom was really late getting out of work, so we missed the whole movie we wanted to see and settled for something none of us really cared about, just so we'd have something to do. After the movie, we went to dinner. My dad dropped my stepmom and I off in front of the restaurant and then pulled around the corner to park and was hit by an oncoming car. He was fine, but the car was totaled. Worst Valentine's Day ever. Holy shit. Wait, okay, out of all the ones I heard so far, that one's gotta be the worst. That one by far has to be the worst. Not only is your love interest, like your relationship, spoiled on fucking Valentine's Day, but your family was harmed. Like, what? Your mom literally got into a knockdown, drag out fight with her boyfriend. Okay, police, called the cops. But your dad gets hit by a freaking car in the parking lot, I'm assuming. And that's fucking insane. No advice, no words, truly, because what would I do? Cry as well. I would definitely cry as well. And I'd probably be crying that whole day out of frustration for everything that went wrong. If anything, what I would do is not even leave the house after I had gotten broken up with. Let's be realistic here. That Valentine's Day would be spent in home by myself with whatever snacks I could find. So I would have avoided being a part of the rest of the situations in there, so maybe I would have been a little happier. But God bless, that is a rough day, for sure. Okay, I'd been dating this guy for almost a year, and this was the first Valentine's Day where I wasn't single. He went to a different college and lived about 2 hours away from me. I was planning on driving out there on Valentine's Day so we could spend the day together. He came out to visit me the weekend before, but I got violently ill. I spent the whole weekend throwing up bile, and then I finally went to the hospital Saturday night. I had diabetic ketoacidosis. I spent the rest of the weekend plus some of the week in the hospital. The ex-boyfriend begrudgingly came out and visited me in the hospital after I bitched him out on the phone. He didn't want to drive to Seattle to see me because he was afraid of driving in the city and it was a pain in the ass for him. I was released the day before Valentine's Day and he still expected me to drive out, especially since I was missing school and work because I could barely walk without passing out. I needed time to recover. We ended up getting into this huge fight because he was being a selfish bitch. I'm still bitter about it 3 years later. Okay, you know what? I think this story was mildly confusing. So she said ex-boyfriend, but I'm assuming she's mentioning the same man that she was talking about at the beginning. There's a lot of driving back and forth, but it sounds like he's a stupid idiot asshole. And you were like violently ill. Imagine being violently ill and your boyfriend complains about coming to see you in the hospital, first of all. And then Valentine's Day rolls around. He's like, okay, come on, make your way over here. And you're like, oh, but I actually can't walk. So that's like really funny that you think I'm going to do that. So yeah, 10 out of 10 asshole. I would still be bitter for some shit like that. That's the type of stuff that you look back at in like your old relationship when you're like broken up and you're like, how did I ever accept such bottom tier hellish shit from a person? And that's the type of stuff that you dwell on when you get older and you're like, damn, my ass was stupid. All right, here's a shorter one. I was with a girl who was absolutely in love with me, talking about marriage, pets, kids, etc. On our third Valentine's Day at dinner, I looked at her and it hit me. I realized I had lost any feelings I had for her. Nice girl, cute, treated me great, would have made a fantastic wife. I just lost those feelings. Sucks to know it's not your fault the way you feel, but to realize this poor soul is going to be crushed. It's been 5 years and I still feel like shit for that. Ew. Okay, I did not like that one. Let's get into it a little bit because losing feelings for someone, especially when he's like saying she's a nice girl, cute, treated me great, would have been a fantastic wife, it actually begs the question of what are you looking for rather than losing feelings? Because the beginning of a relationship, let's say, filled with infatuation, excitement, yada, yada, yada. As time moves on and you're in the steadiness of a relationship, like clearly the things that entice this relationship initially are not the things that you are looking for. And what's backwards about it to me is that he said would have made a fantastic wife. So I'm assuming, you were in it for the long haul, right? So why is it that these things that check off a fantastic wife is not what you're looking for? To me, it sounds like homeboy was a little bored, and after 5 years still felt like shit for it because he feels regretful that he lost a good girl and probably hurt her really badly, because a breakup that is you losing feelings, which honestly I hope you guys don't use that as a breakup thing. Like literally, if there's one thing I'll say is lie, and that's the only time I condone lying. Genuinely, fuck lying. But if you are losing feelings for someone, do not break up with them and tell them you're losing feelings for them. That's terrible. I think that's like literally the worst reason you can like break up with someone. Just say like, I don't know, fuck it, I'm not giving you ideas, just say something else. But like, I'm curious of what is it that he was looking for now. Like clearly a little bit maybe more excitement, something different, something more short term, something more I don't know. What would I do in this situation? I wouldn't break up because I'm not a freaking loser, okay? That sounds like a good person to be around. I think I'm biased because it was a man who said that, but anyways, moving on. In high school, I was crazy about this one girl, but she had a boyfriend, so I stayed firmly in the trusted friend category. Well, early February comes around and she breaks up with her boyfriend. We plan to meet up for dinner a day or two before Valentine's Day. I'm stoked. I buy her a Valentine's Day teddy bear and I'm seriously gonna ask her out, tell her my feelings, etc. Well, I pull up to her house and she comes out and the first thing she says to me is, "Me and my boyfriend got back together. Aren't you happy?" Well, let me say a little 1-2 about that. Men can't be trusted. That's crazy. Literally him saying she had a boyfriend, so I stayed firmly in the trusted friend category just goes to show that who can we trust to be a trusted friend? But really, he just wants her? Are you kidding? I hate guys. Men stink. But like, for real, if that was me in that situation and my guy friend was about to expose all his feelings, realistically she probably went on this Valentine's Day date because she was like, oh cool, like I won't be lonely for Valentine's Day, and like my good buddy pal wants to like go out and do something with me. Sounds like a good time, just like a friendly Valentine's Day vibe. And he's out here ready to confess his feelings and his love. If I could have some advice for anybody who's in the same position as him, don't do it, okay? Don't do it. Remove yourself from the trusted friend category if you have feelings for your female friend. I hate you guys. I bet there's not many men listening, but don't do that. You're freaking weird. I would never. I mean, like in my past, like I just would simply never. Don't solidify yourself as someone that can be trusted and is in the friend zone, right? Like there's a difference between friends, two single friends that are like, oh, whatever, we've never said we're friend zoning each other. We're kind of just like feeling it out. Maybe it can turn into something. And then one where you're like, yeah, this is my buddy. This is my pal. And then the other one's moving weird. Crazy. But what I would do probably is just not have taken her out on a date because I have some common sense. And I'd feel like it would make her feel wildly uncomfortable that now that she's out of a relationship, you make a move. I've heard this happen to my friends before, and I'm like, bro, I thought he was a cool one. Like, I thought he was just your buddy. And she's like, yes, same. Like, turns out he can't be trusted. And I said, turns out. Okay. On our first Valentine's together, I was supposed to be working, but was allowed to finish my shift early as it was pretty dead. I called my then girlfriend to ask if she got my card in the mail. Turns out she was on her way through the railway station, so got off the train and we met up. Of course, nowhere had space, not even Nando's or Pizza Hut. Ended up at McDonald's. My wife is broadly vegetarian, but she doesn't like meat, so she just had chips. I think these people are British, by the way. And watched me destroy a QP Deluxe, a double cheeseburger, chocolate shake, and my chips. Since then, it's become a bit of a tradition that we get McDonald's on Valentine's Day, so she's branched out to get a filet of fish to go with her chips, making the best of a nightmare on our first one. Wow. Okay, I thought I was in the Reddit post of bad Valentine's Day stories, but this one's got a mildly cute energy to it because, yeah, you know, maybe as a little girly, you wouldn't be so inclined to go to McDonald's for Valentine's Day, especially your first with your boyfriend, but he said my wife, so they're clearly married now and use it as a tradition. So if anything, I value a tradition, like in my shoes, if I were in their shoes, I value a tradition like that much more than like me having to do anything really super extra and romantic on Valentine's Day. So I actually really like this one. This one took a positive spin. I would do something like that myself as well. If it was a tradition, why not? Sounds awesome. As a teenager, I never ever had luck with girls. Wasn't the best looking lad, etc. So when I got to school on Valentine's one year, I almost done a fucking flip when I saw a card on my table. I'm generally pretty miserable, if I'm honest. Not that day. I was beaming, never smiled so much. I got taken to one side and was told it was a switch up. People had chipped in and faked a card just to watch me embarrass myself, which I did. Hadn't celebrated Valentine's since. People are so evil. No. That's terrible. That's actually genuinely sad. Why would anyone do that? That is so mean. Honestly, like, kids are seriously vicious. I would feel extremely guilty as a person who would have contributed to pitching in to do that, seeing someone get so excited and then let down. Him saying he was a miserable kid too, just like, I know why. Clearly you have some shit people that go to your school and you've been bullied for quite some time. So I'm not surprised that you're miserable. School fucking stinks, truly. Kids stink, school stinks. Why are kids so mean? Who knows? I'm sorry. What would I do? I would cry. I would go home and cry. That's it. Period. That's it. We'd been palling around for a few weeks. Valentine's Day was our first date. He knew I hated techno music. If he was ever playing it, I'd ask for it to be changed. It really triggered my sound sensitivities. He pulls out his phone to show me a song he wrote, claims he stayed up all night. It was some 12-minute long YouTube song that was like 6 months old with 500 views. It was terrible. I thought it was a joke. He ended up screaming at me in public and telling me how horrible I was for not appreciating his gift just because it wasn't expensive. Like, dude, a fistful of lies and zero thought. That is not a gift. Wait, why does that actually make me laugh? Because that is seriously a narcissistic little shit of a boyfriend. Because okay, palling around. So maybe that's not your boyfriend, but still, like, whoever it is, it's your romantic interest. And he no, because it's actually kind of funny, though, if you think about it, because he decides that, hey, holy shit, it's Valentine's Day. Let me think of a gift that I can give her. And then proceeds to pretend that he created a song that's 12 minutes long that was posted 6 months ago. And he spent all night making it when it's like, clearly, no, you didn't. And it was shit, and she didn't like it. And then you get mad. No, that's funny. I actually, like, it. If I were her, I'd be laughing because I'd be like, what? This is the most pathetic shit I've ever heard in my life. Because it's not even like it was a genuine gesture. Like, he's fully lying. Like, if he actually spent those 12 hours the night before making this song and you just didn't like it, okay. Then you can, like, white lie a little and be like, oh my god, thank you so much, like, that's so sweet, whatever. But like, even then, actually, low-key, if you've talked about how much you hate techno music and that song was techno, then clearly he's not listening to you very well. But the fact that he just lied about it all, it's like, no, I for sure would laugh at that. All right, next one. It wasn't a bad date for me, but I was there to witness her worst date. We went to a botanical garden and were having a good time when suddenly one of her heel breaks off. No problem. I take it and straighten the nail and bang it back so it's at least walkable. Not even 10 minutes later, the clasp on her handbag breaks and all of her contents spill out of her bag. I'm handy, but I wasn't able to fix this clasp, so she basically had to football carry it for the rest of the time. So we're laughing about the tough luck she's had and something small hits her on the top of her head. There was an elevated Japanese garden next to the path we were walking, so we thought a little kid was throwing tiny pebbles. We ran up to catch the kid, but as we're running, I see the top of her head and realize it's not a pebble, but a bird crapped on her head. I didn't want to alarm her, so I didn't tell her about it and told her to stop and come over. I grabbed a leaf and wiped the crap off her head the best I could. She then realized what it was and she was mortified. I couldn't help but basically laugh in her face. I wasn't laughing at her, but it was so hilarious that I couldn't contain myself. I reassured her that everything's all right and sometimes shit happens. I went on another date with her next week, but she was so shy and embarrassed that we didn't meet again. Aww. Oh, wait, why is that actually sad? No, that makes me sad. Ugh, because that could have been this like reminded me of a movie, but that could have been a perfect opportunity to just have some like quick banter and like something so funny to have like a long lasting story of your past. I'm such a romantic. But like, no, that actually makes me sad. In his shoes, truly, there's nothing you can do, because if someone is really that embarrassed and like, I mean, you know what? Maybe he didn't have to laugh in her face, but let's be fucking real. I think we all would have laughed, but not in the way of like, oh my God, you're such a loser. Just in the way like, I can't believe this happened. It's hilarious type of thing, you know? And realistically, in the girl's shoes, like, I don't know, you get shit on the head on your date on Valentine's Day, and that's a little embarrassing. Personally, I think I'd still show face for a next couple dates. Maybe that's not the reason that she didn't end up dating him again, but maybe it is. And if it is, that actually makes me sad, because I think that's something they could have laughed about in the future. Okay, last one. Was set up on a blind date when I was in high school with my friend's boyfriend's roommate. My friend failed to mention that the guy she was dating was pushing 30 and his roommate was the same age. What the fuck? I was very uncomfortable about it. After dinner, my friend wanted to go back to their apartment to chill. I tried to ask to be taken home, but she insisted it would be a good time. When we got to their apartment, friend and her boyfriend went to their room to do God knows what, leaving me alone with this creepy older dude. I felt extremely uncomfortable and tried texting my friend to take me home, but she ignored me. Finally, after about an hour, I started petting their cat. I'm very allergic to cats. I then proceeded to rub my eyes until they swelled. This is when I burst into their room to show them my swollen face and insisted I be taken home. And she did right after. We never spoke since. Okay, I don't know if that one was a Valentine's Day, because who goes on double dates for Valentine's Day? But this thread is the Valentine's Day one, so I don't fucking know. But you know what's funny is like I've heard situations similar to this, like from my own friends and like some of their friends that are just really not looking out. Like if you have a friend that's not looking out for your best interest at all times, ditch that friend. Because yeah, you can be, you know, someone can be taking one for the team. Like, let's say this girl's taking one for the team so her friend can go on a date with the other dude. Also, I forgot to say the most important part. Why are you dating someone that's 30 when you're in high school? That's extremely fucking frightening. Or pushing 30, whatever. That's the biggest red flag. But let's ignore that part just for the sake of me saying this. Like, if one of your friends is not looking out for you and being like, okay, you're here just for me, and like, no matter, even if you're uncomfortable or whatever the fuck, like, I'm here for this man and like, you're gonna support me, then that's a shit fucking friend, bro. I think you can only do that, only let your friend take that responsibility on if they're not uncomfortable. Like, if I were her, honestly, the fact, God, Reddit's funny. The fact that she literally voluntarily gave herself an allergic reaction so she could get out of that situation is not only fucking genius, but insane, because that's just how desperate she was. This man must have been terrible. And the fact that she couldn't just go to her friend and be like, can we fucking leave? Personally, I would have found my own way out, because I don't have a deathly allergic reaction to anything where I would have been able to do that. So I probably would have just called an Uber and been like, I literally need a shit so bad, I'm gonna throw up, like something crazy, like saying that I'm extremely sick or something. That was a good one. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it here. I literally don't know if that was interesting at all, but personally to me it was. Felt like I was reading some short stories and it was pretty fun. If you potentially found interest in it in some way, shape, or form, or you maybe will want to like have more Reddit story things, like more relationship Reddit stories or whatever, because that was also one of my other ideas, let me know. If you don't want to hear any more Reddit stuff, also let me know. This one was a weird one. This one was just me throwing something interesting out there that I've never done before. But regardless, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope Valentine's Day is treating you well if you celebrate. If not, I hope you just have a great rest of your day. All right. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.